Well, hello there. I want to thank you for joining this episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network, sponsored each and every week and presented by CVC Success Group. Why do we do this? Hopefully, to share some ideas, some concepts, some processes that may assist you in your daily work and getting to your goals of your dream destination. So, what's the title of today's topic? It's what inspires you. And for Cheryl and myself, it's been a very, very inspiring week. Earlier today, we saw something and witnessed something that was truly inspiring. And this was a group of Buddhist monks who have walked all the way to where we live in Concord, North Carolina, from Fort Worth, Texas, and they're walking all the way to Washington, D.C. It's called a Walk for Peace. And as this walk is progressing on, and more and more and more people are coming out to observe this. At the rest stops they do, and at the nighttime rest stops, the head of the monk group is speaking. Last night, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see a video that I shared that my grandson was at that gathering last night and recorded it. And it's a pretty long video. If you skip down to about the 5-minute mark, you'll start hearing the monk talking. And what this is all about is called a Walk for Peace. And it is truly an inspiring thing to watch these men on their journey of what they're going through. Just imagine what it can be like, because I'm going to tell you what, it's cold out there today. When we saw them this morning, the temperature was down in the low 20s, and they had left an hour or so earlier, already on the road once again. And the roadways were lined with people to watch this group. And that was one of the inspiring things that we've been through this week. Cheryl and I also attended an industry event this week in San Juan, Puerto Rico called Lindeman University. And there we heard significant stories, and a couple of people want to talk about here. One is a past guest on here. His name's Steve Sobside, who has changed tremendously, has gone through, lost weight, changed so many habits. It's unreal, has gone through significant change. Another one there that I'm very familiar with was Anthony Valerio. He told his story of what he had been through. And when I worked with Anthony, I was very familiar with his story. And to see both of these guys on the stage telling their story to these groups, it was truly phenomenal. Another guy there that was an inspirational guy was Tommy Rhines. He's a chimney sweep in Ohio. I've known his family for a number of years, and he was talking about autistic kids. I had no idea, but the statistics say that one of every 31 kids born today has autism. It's truly unreal. Another guy's there. His name was Jason Cirrhosis, and he is a well-known public speaker, business consultant, and is an expert in exiting from businesses. And as he talked, it was really amazing because he shared something where he had gone bankrupt earlier in his life, lost his home, lost his business, everything else. So I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl for a minute. Cheryl, what's been the most inspiring things to you this week? And you can feel free to repeat some of the things I've said if it was your inspiration for the week.
Well, the main ones, the Tommy Rhines, the one with the autistic child, that one inspired me because my son, his significant other, has a autistic son. He is a little bit older. He's in his 20s. But I look at her and I look at him and I look at what she probably went through for many, many years and is still going through. He's at the age he is and will be. And so the thing about it is that was one. The other gentleman, I can't remember, the guy in the black suit. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names. The one that, like you said, gone bankrupt. He has done so much. And in fact, I had a good chance to sit at the back of the room and talk with him for quite a while. You had stepped out, and he and I sat there together, and it was amazing how much more I got from him, even just sitting there. So all of Anthony, all of them were good. the thing that I think inspired me as much as any of the speakers was looking across the audience. And when they spoke, they inspired me because they, all of a sudden, the light bulb had gone off to them about something one of the other people we were talking about had said. And it was, I don't know, my heart felt so big for those days. And if anyone can ever experience anything like that, it will definitely make your week. And I'm sure it'll make more into my life.
So let me ask you a question. As we sat there on Highway 29, and we actually saw this group of monks twice, because we saw them one time going across, and we were parked on the other side of a 4-lane road, and we swung around and got ahead of them and watched them come right by us again. In fact, I was standing right on the road. You were in the car because it's pretty cold out there. But what was your thoughts to see these guys, these men, walking up that highway, and all the people that were gathered to watch this? What was your thoughts?
My hopes are that everyone was there for the reason, the reason of they needed to be inspired, not just as a sightseeing thing. Because to watch a group of gentlemen walk for what's going to be close to 2,000 miles and in cold, wet, rain, they don't stop. I mean, they sleep, but nothing's going to stop them. And just seeing how people, the ones that you knew were looking at this as an inspiration instead of something just to watch, that it makes such a difference in your heart. I get to the point some days, and that it's like, what the hell is going on in the world? But to see that, it was like, I know there's still a good piece here.
Yeah, great. That's fantastic. And the actual mileage, I believe, is 2,300 miles that this group of Buddhist monks is walking, and walking for peace. It was really a very awesome moment. It really, really was. So, Josh, what about you? What inspires you, buddy?
This has been it's hard to follow up you two today after what you guys have seen this week. As we were talking beforehand, I was like, well, this week I've been inspired to do a lot of writing this week based on customers' negative reviews for clients. I've been writing a lot of educational pieces to educate their staff on those. I've done a lot of writing this week. I think I've written like 25 pages so far this week. But you brought up Mr. Sobsack earlier, and just for the record, like, he's probably saved my life by helping me, with my fitness journey. And by the way, when if you ever decide to get in like real good shape, Jerry, your friends will send you shirtless pictures of themselves, whether you want them or not. And that's just not Mr. Sobsack. Apparently, like, I'm a target for straight white guy shirtless pictures now. But and just like my friends at jiu-jitsu were asking me, and I was like, well, how much weight have you lost? And I said, man, hey, look at this picture from me from just May. He's like, oh man, I can really see it, because they see me, 4 times a week, so they don't see it. But when you can look at the contrast, it's really been changing my life, and how I feel about myself, and the influence he's had on me. So those have been my influences as of late.
Yeah.
Well, negative people.
Yeah. Here's the whole thing, folks. In life, you're going to go through times that are going to be challenges for you. And there's going to be this magic moment. And one of the things about magic moments is, and this was even addressed by one of the speakers at Lindeman University, and it was where, in order to change, you have to be in pain. You have to be at the point of that the pain of change is not greater than the present pain that you were in. This is one of the things that Larry Winget helped me develop, which is a point of view of looking at things and talking about things, which is it's got to come a day. And whatever that inspiration was, as we sit in that room in Puerto Rico, just like Cheryl said, we saw people that became inspired, and you see it. I mean, one of the things is, and we kind of laugh about it sometimes, but Kevin Russell, I can remember when Kevin Russell, who founded an organization in Louisiana called Warrior Horse, and I encouraged Kevin to come to a summit that we were doing in Indianapolis. And I think that was when Kevin gathered the strength to go forward and change his life to go after this dream that he has there. And Kevin is very an emotional guy. When he gets up on the stage, there's going to be some tears shed. It's the way it is. But that's where it's at. It's all about when you get to the point that you can't get any more. Josh, was that where you were at with your weight loss? You decided I just can't take this anymore?
It was, well, to be personal, we can take it back further than that. I had bottomed out. Um, I went through a hell of a time with my daughter, and the month before I started working out and all that, I had really bottomed out because she had turned 18. I had to watch her high school graduation on YouTube. I wasn't invited, and I had bottomed out, and I had said I needed to make some choices. I just can't keep sitting here, really crying all the time because my daughter didn't want anything to do with me at the time. And sure shit enough, you manifest stuff, right, Jerry? You talk about that stuff. I start, make the decision to work out. This was years in the making. The owner of my gym actually spoke at one of the Heat Shield conferences in Dayton, and it invited me. When was that? 2019, 2018, Jerry?
I'm not sure of the year, buddy.
Somewhere in there. And then I found his gym, and then after 30 days of working out and changing my life, my daughter decides she wants to get back in my life, and it's been uphill since I manifested that.
Yeah, I understand. So again, Cheryl, inspiration. What does it take? Is it pain? Is it listening to someone who inspires you? Is it hearing a story that you can understand yourself? I mean, it's like a sadness this week. A very close friend of ours, very, very close, lost his wife this week.
Mm.
I can't say I know how you feel. I don't know how I would go through that. I don't know what I would do. I really don't. But these are the things that make you deeply, deeply think. I don't want to say who it is to respect his privacy. I really don't. But that was a true shocker to them, as I'm sure he's going through all kinds of turbulent things in his mind today. It's really a tough situation. Cheryl, is there anything else you would add to today's broadcast?
Well, first, I'd like to mention my father, who made me the person I am, made my work ethics that made me strong. And then my kids that gave me the humility to be a good parent and teach them as my dad had taught me. And then when I went into Ziegler, it opened up a part in my heart that wasn't even there. It was there. I think I was too hard shelled to let it out. And then I want to thank everybody that in my life that has told me you can't, because those are the people that inspired me to do way more than I thought I ever could. And then I want to thank you for being there every moment of the last 30 years.
Josh, anything you'd add?
Oh, geez, Cheryl. You're a tough act to follow up today. No, there's nothing I want to add.
Okay. Well, it is. And one of the things is, and it's gratitude. And I want to say this because one of the things that one of the speaker talked about was writing a letter to people that are dear to you, letting them know how much they meant to you in your life. Writing that letter. We watched one speaker that was on the stage actually read his letter there, and the person he wrote it about was in the audience. Very, very touching moments. Very touching. Cheryl, you agree?
It was unreal. And knowing these two people makes it even better.
Yeah. Knowing what people have gone through. So, hey, find what inspires you and make the changes in your life. You're only granted so many days here on God's green earth. We never know when that last day will be. Don't let that last day be a day of regrets in your life. Go for the goals that you have. And with that, we're going to end this broadcast this week. We appreciate you tuning in. As always, I hope this is a time of value if you're listening to us. And I want you to know it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's a pleasure for you to join us every week. So we'll see you next week on the next episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a fabulous, fabulous week ahead.